Tattoo artists of Reddit. What's the weirdest, most disturbing tattoo a customer wanted? When I worked as a tattoo artist, a guy wanted to tattoo his name on his infant baby. Because, as he put it, she's trying to say, that's not my son. We threatened to call the guard guy because what the actual hell? We wouldn't tattoo anyone under the age of 18. Even with parental consent. And we certainly would not tattoo a baby. I had to laugh when I saw the episode of Archer when he and the baby get tattoos. It was a grim reminder. The Gardaí, by the way, are the Irish police. Not a tattoo artist, but the guy I went to for many years once told me that he had a customer come in, 20 years old and completely sober and very serious, wanting him to tattoo birds flying out of her vagina up to her lower stomach. He told her he wasn't willing to tattoo genitalia and to get out of it, and she said, okay, I'll just take an infinity sign on the back of my neck instead. He saved her from a lot of awkward questions and a lot of regret later in life. Vagina as in mons pubis or actual vagina? I think mons pubis because that, you'd think, would be less painful, less embarrassing, and easier. No, unfortunately, actual vagina. Or at least it would begin there. It would eventually go out and up to her lower stomach, but it definitely was meant to begin as a true genital tattoo. And my vagina slammed shut. That would be beyond painful. No, thank you. Jeez, inside? Ah. Yo, this next one actually has a picture. Several years ago, I tattooed the words Jeffrey Dahmer in scratchy writing on a girl's neck for her 18th birthday. Jeffrey Dahmer is a cannibal, serial killer, and rapist. She had been coming into the shop a lot with her friends as they got tattooed and talking about it. She had the letters drawn up exactly as she wanted them and everything. The answer was always the same. No way. When she finally turned 18, she came in with a few of her friends and asked again. I told her politely to stop with her shenanigans. A few minutes later, her friend told her he could just tattoo it with the gun he had bought off eBay at home. I made the hard choice to do the tattoo to ensure that it wouldn't get infected or be all scarred up if she ever decided to remove it. It's been circulating around the internet for several years. I still feel bad about it and I hope she gets it removed. At least you did it for something other than money. This is the first time I've ever heard this phrase used when the thing other than money wasn't sex. We do sometimes do that. Still charge, of course, but that's not the bottom line. I refuse a lot of tattoos on principle. Although one time, early in my career, I tattooed someone's face even though I've always had a strict policy on face tattoos. I did a small blue beauty mark tattoo on her cheekbone even though I would have automatically otherwise refused to. I did it because she told me that she applied a bit of blue hair dye there every day. She was obsessed with having this blue beauty mark. It freaked me out to think that she would be applying hair dye to her face every single day. So, tattoo it was. I really dearly hope she never applied hair dye to her face again. Hair dye? Why not actual makeup? Eyeliner comes in blue, right? That's crazy. That's what I thought. Apparently the hair dye lasted longer through the day and wouldn't come off as easily. This was in a fairly impoverished area, so this girl wasn't out buying MAC and Ulta. I imagine it made sense to her for whatever reason to use the hair dye. It was worth doing the tattoo. Our shop minimum at that place was only $50, so quite cheap for a shop tattoo. I just don't put hair dye on your face, people. A friend of mine from high school has tattoos of at least 5 serial killers on her body. Large, expensive, very good portraits. Her husband is also much older than her. When I say that, I mean she's in her mid-30s and he's around 60. I think she might have some problems. Take a gander down to r/serial killers, whoop-de-doo. I got a tattoo of Doodle Bob on my ass. To those unaware, Doodle Bob is a character from the episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob finds a pencil and draws a copy of himself. The copy becomes alive and ends up being evil. While I was getting it, I asked the tattoo artist, so what's the dumbest tattoo you've ever given someone? His reply? Honestly, probably this one. I've had it for a few years and have no regrets. Doodle Bob will live on underneath my boxers for years to come. Wait, what? A friend of mine and I recently discussed getting Doodle Bob tattooed on ourselves. We ended up getting cheese instead. But I love the idea of having Doodle Bob done, so that's awesome. I have a buddy that has his anus tattooed and got it when he was high on shrooms. It's an eyeball. God help whichever tattoo artist had to do that one. Just curious, does your friend mention that tattoo as a conversation piece? Or simply bend over and say something like, I see you? Also, how did he explain that to you? Did he tell you about it randomly or did you ask an oddly specific question like, hey, would you ever get an eyeball tattooed on your booty hole?
Girl, that's a booty hole.
I guess you could say they've seen some shit. Obligatory, not a tattoo artist, but I did a series of renovations at a buddy's shop over a couple years. I was something like a skilled groupie. Strangest request I saw honored. Guy comes in looking like a goth thug. He says his mom just died recently and he wants to get a portrait done in her honor. He pulls out an 8x10 black and white nudie pic of his mom. I heard my buddy ask a question like, was your mom a burlesque dancer? The guy, deadpan, says, nah, she was a stay-at-home mom. The finished piece was actually amazing, but clearly that family was a bit different than mine. Strangest request I saw turned away. Guy came in with a small group, maybe 4 or 5 people in their early 20s. He wanted a few disembodied Luigi floating over naked women, spraying her with baby batter. That guy also had a giant Luigi tattooed on his forearm. My face got a workout contorting through several facial expressions in rapid succession. Guy in my town did a touch-up on a Holocaust survivor. Oh, that's nice. One of the guys that I served with, they were from a really messed up area of the South, had a client come in to have his SS tattooed touch-up from the 70s. Never mind. He did it and they turned the check into the FBI. Caught a war criminal that day. Never mind, it was nice. Another story was a guy that had all these weird names he wanted tattooed on his inner thigh. Turns out they were the names of several hookers that had been murdered and his dad was able to call the cops. Some of the names were for people that hadn't even been reported missing. Guy never got caught. My wife's a tattoo artist. She had a woman come in and ask her to lighten up her lady parts. The client thought they were too dark. After some talk, my wife agreed. They got everything ready, prepared and shaved, etc. She touches the woman's bits with the needle and she just screams. Can't do it. So this woman has a slightly pink little dot on her now. It's the weirdest. Not an artist, but my best friend is. He sent me a snap of a girl with the Batman logo above her vagina with the quote, "The Batcave." I immediately knew who it was and died of laughter. Now every man in town has visited the Batcave. A tattoo of a Luigi on a Luigi. That's how you get twins. What's the IRL version of a misclick? Saying bye, love you to your boss. Give them a wink on the way out. Get a special raise the next day. The raise isn't money if you know what I mean. You beat me to it. That's not the only thing that got beat. Locking eyes with someone offering some product or service in a public space. That feels like clicking on an unwanted ad. High-fiving someone who is going in for a fist bump. The only way to save yourself from this situation is to lightly wrap your palm and fingers around their fist and proclaim, "Cabbage!" Awkwardness avoided. I say paper covers rock. Some people get used to it and start switching the scissors at the last second before I cover their fist. This is how me and my friend group started the tradition of saying goodbye by playing rock, paper, scissors game. Waving back to someone waving at you, only to realize they weren't waving at you, but to someone behind you. Then, to avoid further awkwardness, you keep waving, hail a cab, go to the airport, buy a one-way ticket to Iceland, and live the rest of your life as a hermit. Years later, when you finally make human contact, what brought you here to Iceland? I can't remember. Guy asking you turns to face you fully, and you realize he was talking on the phone and is now looking at you, puzzled. Going into the wrong room. Yep, that's the one I thought of. Thinks to himself, wait, this isn't the bathroom. Exit secret nuclear bunker. Is this the bathroom? Opens door to White House. All heads turn. We've been waiting. Misjudging distance. When you reach out to grab something, but it is either closer or further than you thought. Same with how heavy something is. Like when I'm used to the weight of my phone, but then some dude removes all the pennies? Today, I hit myself in the head with the phone. Waiter, enjoy your food. Me, thanks. You too. Also at McDonald's, when the cashier says $10.69 is your change, thanks. You too. At the grocery store, I expected the cashier to ask if I wanted a receipt. Cashier, have a nice day. Me, no thanks. What I want to say, order 93, ready for pickup. What I end up yelling, 93 cents, change, have a nice day. Legit happened to me last night. Enjoy your movie. Thanks, I will. You do the same. Calling someone by the wrong name. Calling your teacher, Mom. I once called my mother, Babe, on the phone. Sigmund Freud has entered the chat. I accidentally called my mom Witch once when we were on our way to get ice cream. I didn't get the ice cream. I wouldn't think you would, because I got a milkshake instead. I accidentally called my boyfriend's mom some dumb count in front of his grandma. How does grandma react? The straightest poker face ever seen. It's difficult when you can't agree, but you do. When you accidentally send a false missile alert to Hawaii, that was probably an actual misclick anyway. When two people are walking towards each other and, in a mutual attempt to avoid walking into one another, both sidestepping in the same direction. Did this on purpose when I was a child. I enjoyed the awkwardness. My parents told me years later that they thought that there was something wrong with me. I think they could have been right. Joke's on them, I was only pretending to be retarded. Fake it till you make it. The trick to this one is to pick which side you want to pass in advance and continue looking in that direction the whole time. That way when people see your eyes, they pick up on the direction you're planning to go and will know to go the other way. My trick is to always go right. That way, you're always right. Harvard wants to know your location. Walking into the ladies' bathroom by total accident. The looks I got, lol. And then say, what are y'all doing in the men's room? I bet you're all wondering why I called this meeting. Brothers, I've gathered you all here today. I did this recently. I ran out of the bathroom screaming, wrong bathroom. I heard laughter. Nah, you have to commit to it. If you accidentally walk into the wrong bathroom, own it. Walk into the stall, lift up the seat, drain that bladder. Shh, amateur. Just use the sink as a urinal. Who needs a sink when you have walls? Thank you. Be sure to lift your leg while draining the main vein all over the walls to establish the maximum amount of dominance. Biting your own tongue really hard, or your cheek so it swells up so you do it a few more times. Trying to turn the doorknob/handle the wrong way. Trying to open the door in the wrong direction too. Throwing away my yogurt cup instead of the yogurt lid I just removed from said cup. Or throwing away the spoon instead of the yogurt cup I just ate yogurt out of with said spoon. I once put hair gel on my toothbrush instead of toothpaste. It took me like 20 seconds of brushing before I realized something was wrong. We tend to do a lot of misclicks when we start our day, obviously. Trying to brush our teeth with razor blades with toothpaste on them, putting on shaving cream, then proceeding to wash our faces immediately afterwards, or even heating your morning coffee in a frying pan. Hurling your drink onto the bed while putting your phone on your desk. Did that one too, then tried to sit and take a drink from my phone. Putting the milk in the pantry instead of the cereal? That was a rude surprise I love for myself. You ever go to the wrong class in school? Yep, and loudly said, sorry I'm late, and walked to my seat. There was someone in my seat. I looked around and see that I've actually gone into the wrong lesson. And it's my sister's class in the room at the time. Edit. The only reason I apologized for being late rather than quietly moving to my desk was because this teacher would get angry if anyone came in with no apology or explanation. Wait, isn't it just called being polite when you walk into class late and just say sorry I'm late? Walking into a room and forgetting why you did. Then walking out of the room to remember why you walked into the room. Then walking back into that room and then forgetting again. Legend says that person is still walking in and out of that room. When you think there's an extra step on the stairs and you step down, but then you make a really loud thump. Or the opposite. You think you're on the last one, but there's one more. Walking into a big window instead of the automatic door. Staring into space and then suddenly your eyes focus and you realize you're staring at or into the eyes of a stranger. Accidentally touching someone's boob when you're reaching out for something. I thought that only happened in anime. Going to take a drink and getting the straw up your nose. That's bad, but getting it in your eye is worse. Nobody commented this, but does anyone have the situation where you have a cup and you have like a spoon sticking out of the cup, but when you drink it, it like jabs into your eyeball? That happens to me quite a lot. When you say yes when you actually mean no and vice versa. My mind's telling me no, but my body. Putting your shoes in the fridge and going for a drink from the closet? You've done that? Yes, I've done that a lot and even some worse things. Man, what? You've got some problems. Hold on. Sleeping with the wrong twin. Wrong hole. Pressing the wrong drink in a vending machine. When you accidentally poke your dog/cat's eyes trying to pat their head. Hitting 4 on the elevator when you mean 5. Hey, how are ya? I'm good, how are you? Good, how are... Waking up at 8:30 p.m. instead of a.m. Hey, how do you guys like my Ask Reddit content? I'm used to reading Reddit stories just like this one, so if you like the Ask Reddit content, let me know in the comments below and subscribe if you haven't already. Cheers!